This is the Game Industry Events Podcast by Events for Gamers, recorded on the 5th of April, 2024. Events for Gamers is one of the only exclusive game industry event calendars for global industry events, including conferences like the WN events. I am the CEO and founder of Events for Gamers, and joining me today is Antonio Pasalic, Program Director at WN Media Group. Hey, Antonio,
Hey,
how are you?
hey Matthew. Hey Matthew, good to be here and thank you for uh pronouncing my name correctly. I know it's a mouthful, but thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Very good.
So, where were you based?
I'm in Croatia. I guess we have some time difference. You've been in Austin, and I appreciate you waking up early to accommodate, me trying to have a evening off. So yeah.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here. We just had the solar eclipse go by just it was 2 days ago now.
Yeah, I saw like my social media feed is full of it. So yeah, we didn't have it though. So
Yeah,
stop
you
bragging.
get it at some point. I'm not sure what year it is,
Yeah.
but it'll pass by
Yeah.
eventually. Yeah, so thank you for coming on the podcast here. This is one of our first recordings. So it's a pleasure to have you here to talk to us about WN events, which we'll get to in a second. But I wanted to ask you a couple of things about the state of the game industry. The industry has been through ups and downs quite a bit recently. I know you and I have been to GC just a few
Mhm.
weeks ago in March, and I at least heard a lot of talk about the industry issues. What did you hear?
I heard I heard some things actually that like that are through the grapevine, like, and I don't want to maybe mention them now, like, because it might turn out like not real, and then who wants to lose their credibility? So, but basically, for me, this topic, I mean, like it's been a lot of talk about it. We can try to look for reasons, etc. It's like if it's happening, just like, is it in our industry? Like we're kind of focused because we're in the industry, so we're focused on that. Like it's not only happening with us, it's happening everywhere and globally. But like I know some examples where, I don't know, some companies were cool about it. They did some cuts on their costs, like trying to do everything to keep people. But we're talking about like, I don't know, 500 people companies. But then you're just thinking like, hey, like a lot of people from there are my friends actually, right? Like you feel for them, like you're imagining, oh my God, like what if I was in that position, right? Like
Yeah.
who to blame, like what to do, like or what can I do, or my other friends in the industry. And I see industry being very cohesive in that way, supportive, like as a network where people are trying to help each other, right? With references, with whoever like puts on LinkedIn, I don't know, open to work or tells their story. And like people are uh recommending each other. So
Yeah,
I
yeah, I've
I,
seen
I
a lot of that, that they
yes.
help each other out. That's awesome. The game industry had a huge growth, and that included new events, by the way, as well. So the
Mhm.
all around we had hirings for development of games, we had hirings for the development and creation of entrepreneurial new events, like WN events and conferences, conventions as well started sprouting up online, of course, during
Mhm.
COVID. And it the industry really realized that there was a bunch of need. There's a lot of people doing not so much. They were stuck in their homes. They had to figure out what to do. Let's play some games. That was one of the key things. I want to play some games, but I still want to be and meet other people. Well, how do I do that? Well, let's get online, and next thing you know, you have events that are also being created, small and large. And then we need to hire more people to develop more games post COVID as well for a year or so. And
Mhm.
then, oh, now the industry realized, oh, wait a minute, we have too much of that. We need to scale back. And this is the thing with the industry, is that it tends to overbuild, and then you have to scale
Overpump,
back.
yeah.
So one of the other things with the industry is that alongside, like I just mentioned, we have investment in games, and we had an explosive growth during COVID for that as well. What has been your experience, and what have you seen in terms of investment in the industry and up to this point, and kind of where you maybe see it going?
Mhm. Well, like kind of, as I feel it, as I see it, as a general consensus, is that they're going downhill. Everyone is waiting. Okay, let's sit this one out. Like, let's wait for the next year. Everything's cyclical. More money's gonna be started to be pumped in again, and more investments are gonna happen. It's not just gonna be like more niche. You have like, okay, let's tone down on mobile. Let's focus on PC and console. So yeah, this is happening at a moment. Like, and I've been talking to like some investors, etc., and they're saying, okay, this is not the best year for us, and we kind of know it. Like, so it's like we're gonna wait for the next one. Like, we kind of accepted our losses, but like there's also this light at the end of the tunnel that everyone like taught by previous experiences, and like this circles of what's happening, like that it's gonna go uphill soon. New players stepping onto the scene, if you look at Saudi Arabia,
Hmm.
and that also kind of coincided or has some kind of an impact of like how the things are gonna go. So
That's interesting.
that's one.
Yeah, you mentioned Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of growth in new areas of the world. South
Mhm.
Africa would be another one that I can point to on
Mhm.
occasion. The game industry is a very creative industry, right? You've got a lot of different angles of how to produce a game, what types of games, and all of that, and what people are involved too. And having maybe some fresh games and events too in new parts of the world will bring about new ways of thinking about these
Sure.
creations of ours that we never thought of before. That's my hope anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Like, or get inspired, or like, hey, they're doing it in a different way. They took something that was like that, switch it a bit, like add it, it's a completely new thing, and it kind of gets you out of the rut, right?
Yeah.
That a lot of people can be stuck in. And then, like it's good. It's good that it's happening, and you get like inspired. It's the same thing, with I don't know, music, right? Like it's also good to explore what other countries, regions are doing in a specific genre, for example. So
Yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned genres too, because I see this in the movie industry as well. We've
mhm.
had over the years, the movie industry is older than the game industry, although I think revenue wise, the game industry is beyond it now. Don't
Yep.
quote me on that, but I believe so.
Yep.
And you have this trend where you created new products, new movies, new TV shows, and they were really truly new, right? They wow, I never seen that before. That's amazing. And now you have a trend with the movie industry, well, you've had for a while, where you like to have the sequels, and people like sequels. I love Star Wars 2, Star Wars 3. I love
Sure.
the next X-Men and whatnot. I want those to continue. But when is too much? When should that show end? When is X-Men 357 probably enough? We don't need 358, right?
Yep.
And now we're seeing that with the game industry too, partly because in my opinion, it's a safety net, isn't it? It's a, well, I've had a success here. Let's make another one of that type, right?
Yeah, or milking the cow. I don't know, example, when we were on the movie TV shows, like the Curb Your Enthusiasm just finished, like the
Those are
12th
funny.
season. Yeah, yeah, I love it. Like, and then, but it was right time. Like, it's 12 seasons, right? Let's not like do it anymore like that. And then when you look at it, but just to circle back to, we didn't mention like also remakes, right? Like, which are not really happening that much in a gaming industry, which might be a thing later on. You take like Korean cinematography, and then it's the movie Old Boy is taken, needs to be kind of localized, made for the American market, and it's not as good because it didn't it just didn't resonate with the crowd as much as there, and it was not properly brought to a new audience. So
Right.
yeah, but like yeah, I see it. We're drifting from games. Like, I'm very passionate about music and movies also. So
No,
that's
that's
why.
awesome. It's actually interesting you mentioned movies and music. We're talking about that. I think it ties very closely together in many ways, the creative industries of the two.
Mm,
And you actually said remakes, and that made me think of Diablo series because the
mm,
original Diablo was remade, and so there's been a few in the game industry
yeah,
of that type. I think this is maybe a perfect segue in time to start talking about your event series. Let's get into that, shall we?
awesome. Yeah.
WN events, it's been around for a long time, and we've certainly been adding your events on our platform for years now, and it's been really great working with you on them. As the name suggests, WN Events is an event series. How many events are you producing now?
We're constantly adding, like it was we never had it so busy in terms of like number of events, like with like what we're adding also like a different formats, trying out like I love doing that like with WN because like it's just not like this, okay, we're just gonna do this is our brand, but like we're constantly expanding it, trying new ways of how to uh make a difference in the industry, provide at the end of the day more value for all our attendees and customers. So basically we have like four main conferences. They're all strict like B2B gaming industry events, right? WN, like kind of like you can think of it as a worldwide networking that follows like a platform which we have online, which we had just pre-COVID, was done because the vision was like, hey, at some point, like we cannot travel as much, and we want to be everywhere and meet everyone. Like, so we were starting like with this hybrid events just pre-COVID, like, and then the COVID hit and we had the platform ready for that. So basically, to go back, like four main events, a bread and butter. We do it in different regions, and we kind of now and then we change it. But we had like this year, like in the beginning, we had like we had WN Belgrade and here in my part of the woods. And then we just had WN Abu Dhabi for the very first time. And then we're doing next one in Istanbul in June, and it's going to be the third edition. This is our biggest conference actually. It's our biggest event, and
June
yeah,
11th and
11
12th.
exactly June 11th and 12th. I couldn't be happier that we're doing it in Turkey. For us, like we're expecting there around 2,000 people, and I see how the local scene is interested in it, how everyone got into it, like how everyone started building relationships, very friendly. We have a lot of support there. People want to come there more and more. Then we're gonna do Cyprus also in September, and we're thinking for the end of the year. We're still deciding where to do. But like, there's another brand, WN Connect, that we just started recently. The event can be either with content, with speakers, etc. Sometimes it's just like a mixer adjacent to some bigger event like at GDC or at Gamescom, etc. But like we're trying to provide as many options as we can.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's kind of like our event calendar where we try to provide all the events
Mm-hmm.
around the globe. You can
Mm-hmm.
select conferences. If you're a convention kind of person, you do go to conventions. If you want to stick to one city, you can sort by that and all these other options to provide you as an option to participate in the game industry on
Yeah.
whatever level you're in.
Yeah.
And so I see your platform as being very much like that. And I actually noticed that you had a couple of interesting features I want to get to in just a minute
Mm-hmm.
around that platform. But I want to circle back to Istanbul coming up here. Um, Turkey, that's got to be amazing to visit. So what's exciting about the upcoming event there?
The community there is extremely welcoming. I made like very close personal friends there from the industry, and this is what I'm excited the most about. But like I'm excited about the constant like interest of other attendees from all over the world that want to join us. We're maybe playing with a bit of different formats. Like the second edition last year, we tried out AI event, Gen AI for Business, there, with the likes of Amazon, etc. So we had like a pretty good lineup for the first time, like doing an event like this. There, it has a pretty big like expo zone and lasts 2 full days of program and everything. But we always, like every event of ours, the bigger conference has like obviously the batch pickup day with the networking event before that. The good thing that I'm proud about us, like it's the one where okay, you attend one event and you can kind of you know what to expect like at the next one. Okay, it's kind of the
You
the
have a theme.
bar, yeah, is set high, like, and we were trying not to allow ourselves to go below it.
when we were browsing your website, you have on the promotion for the Istanbul event. I'm going to read it here. Quote: "Amazing Turkish street food."
Well, at the event itself, well, there was like, there's a rooftop, and there was like the vendors there, like maybe like food court,
Mm,
right? Like, so maybe that's what they were referring to. But like, what's specific about Istanbul? It's a city of cats. Like, people adore cats there, and they're everywhere, especially
just
in the
walking around.
neighbor. Yeah, yeah, especially in the neighborhood, like where we are holding our event, and it quite often happens that they just like drift, like, and come to our event and then walking around, like just sit in a lounge zone. Like, so I'm kind of like, it's so like when we start doing it, right? Like, you prepare event for a while, for months and months, like, and then if you set up the tone, like, it's such a fast-paced industry that, like, if you're building just on like one specific, you might, like, get booed and, like, overthrown because like something new comes along every day. So, not okay, not every day, I'm exaggerating, but like, you know what I mean. So,
Who should be attending, especially the Istanbul event, and what kind of, as a conference tends to go, you always have networking opportunities there. What networking opportunities are attendees to expect?
well, like, everything starts with like day zero with our, batch pickup party open to all, like, where people can already start fresh. And most of them have, like, all the lectures are streamed, so everyone, like, who buys the online ticket, all the online attendees, they can, have access to all the lectures in real time. And later on, we record all our lectures, and then we add them to our lecture archive, which is also on the hub. So basically, what happens around the main event like Istanbul, the thing's gonna be, we're gonna open our hub a couple of weeks before everything starts, and there is a meeting system, so everyone can schedule meetings for there in person or also online. And also, when the event finishes, you still have like a couple of weeks more, just because you cannot do everything there in 2 3 days,
Mm.
right? Like, so you can always, still schedule meetings through our platform. And all our sponsors, for example, can get, like, if someone has a booth, like, usually, that would be replicated in an online expo zone where you can, just hover over and, like, get the details. And, if you want to visit the booth, you can actually, just click and, request a meeting with someone, and everyone obviously would be really happy to do that. Like, but we build off of, obviously you have to have developers, everything starts from there. So we have like a big developer exhibition, they have their booths there, and we're building off of that, like, so.
Yeah. And all of this can be found if you go to the WN Events website. Uh,
Exactly.
Correct me, Antonio, if I'm wrong about this part. The WN Hub, I believe it's called.
Yeah, it's a WN hub, and yeah, it's a special hub for each of our events. But yeah, when the event opens, everyone gets notified, hey, start setting up those meetings and get the best out of it.
Oh, nice. You get the email
Mm.
notifications,
Yeah,
customize that too.
yeah.
That's excellent. Very helpful for the busy biz dev person
Mm.
who is
Mm.
on the go and just needs a really quick, like, I just want to easily connect with folks who I am attending the event with and have no hassles
Yeah,
on that, because I know how that goes. Uh,
yeah.
so there's a couple of other interesting things. Speaking of the WN Hub and the WN Events websites in general, I noticed
Mhm.
a couple of things I was hoping you could explain to me. The WN Game Finder, what is that?
It's our kind of catalog for game developers, publishers, and investors. It's also a matchmaking platform, and it's made for anyone who is looking for games, or like certain games, or wide range of games from all over the world. It's kind of being updated regularly, and the games are being handpicked by our team. We build it to help game developers get noticed. And obviously, like, for publishers and investors, what they're looking for, which is the next big hit. So it's just another way of us facilitating networking and showcasing good products and, trying to help them succeed.
we noticed that there's another feature on the website called the WN Academy. And that to me sounds like it's a learning tool. What's that about?
Well, exactly. For us is like, I don't know, you have for example, you have a sales team, right? Like you have someone new coming in or into my program team or etc. And the WN Academy can be for everyone. There's like loads of kind of talks and courses with esteemed people in our industry that would kind of create a course, be it like a short one or a longer one, less interactive, more interactive on, I don't know, how to navigate sales, how to navigate your presence and get the best out of your event experience, right? Like how to become a successful recruiter. Also for live ops in games, game design essentials for game producers, ethical management, etc. So for a lot of sides of our industry, we decided to create a course because we were like, and we're doing this now and talking about events. Like I didn't have it when I started working in events, and I think it would come very handy to have something like this. So basically, just very thorough, thought out courses that are designed to help industry amateurs turning into professionals and professionals adding a more flair to their knowledge and experience, if that makes sense.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I
Mm,
think that's a really great tool to bring everybody
mm,
a capability of growing their career, growing their skill
mm,
set, and learning from others in the industry. And you mentioned a lot of different categories producers can
mhm,
benefit from it, designers, not just, C-level and whatnot. I'm a community manager in the game industry
mhm.
personally. I've been community managing for a long time now.
Okay, like we're starting a new course and you need a lecture also. So,
Okay, great. I
yeah.
can, I'm definitely capable at this point to probably be lecturing, but I love to learn from my fellow community
Mhm.
managers. So if there's any community managers in the industry out there listening to this that is not part of the Facebook group, let us know. Um, Ping us at Events for Gamers and we'll hook you up. So WN has, like we talked about, a lot of different types of events, but there's also one that seems to be related, or at least it's in the same city, Istanbul, the WN CEO Summit. I am guessing that this is for CEOs.
And you're not wrong. Like you're spot on. Yeah, it's because we started doing an event in Istanbul. We loved it. We found a perfect place for something like that. So CEO Summit, obviously C levels, also to speed up the decision making, right? So it's designed in that way that okay, it's designed for 120, 150 people tops, a couple of roundtables, like 4 to 8 roundtables, where everyone can participate, express their opinions without this going out and being public, right? Like we don't have any media there. Anyway, we don't do recordings of it. And people can generally, the bright minds that are at certain positions at our conference can discuss at all the pressing issues. Right there, like at the roundtable where sometimes up to 20 of them gather, and just go in like and talk about like everything that's troubling them for a certain topic. But like other than that, it's a very relaxed event. Obviously, we do a cruise around Bosphorus, like so. We sail out like during the day and come back like a couple hours later when the sunset is happening. So it provides also very nice views, very relaxed setting, and like the more openness to be more less businessy. Let's put it in that way. Everyone, to whoever listens to this wants to speak, WN.conf, it automatically redirects you to our main conference, which is now going to be Istanbul. You can apply or get in touch with me. I would gladly discuss it with anyone. I'm open to all the applications. I know some amazing speakers that I work from event to event that are attending a lot of our events, and we're working together on a topic. John Goodale, who's one of my favorite speakers. He had an amazing topic on how to navigate business like in China, in Japan, and in Korea. you know, and for someone who hasn't spent a lot of time there or do business there, it kind of seems like, oh, maybe it's kind of similar because it's not Europe or the States, but like so many differences. So I love those type of talks. Like I love this, like what's the word? This heartfelt, you know, more open talks that are not just strictly dry.
Me being a community manager, I'm always trying to
Mhm.
find new ways to connect with our audience. And that, I mean, one of the points about this podcast too is to
Mhm.
try to be conversational as much as possible.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm asking questions, you're answering questions, but hopefully people viewing it, it's not like, oh my gosh, it's an interview or something,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
strictly. And we're all humans, right? Well, that may be the case, but in the future, I'm not so sure about that. So that is something that, with the talk of AI and
Mhm.
all around from software to hardware, hardware being, NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, and others that are getting into this game. Obviously, NVIDIA is the star of the show right now, but there's a lot of competition coming down the pipe there. And I can see that totally in the game industry too, with games tapping into AI and just a general business around the industry tapping into AI through various tools like ChatGPT and others. I want to end this podcast on kind of a future projection. Maybe it's about your events, maybe it's about the industry as you see
Mhm.
it, but in general, what is your thoughts on AI?
Like all the best, no issue there. I, I
No
mean, like I'm
apocalypse,
very,
good.
yeah, no, no, no. I'm very excited about it, to be honest. Like, you know, when it started making waves, and I kind of, for me, it was like unexplored territory, right? Like, and we remember, you know, Metaverse started, Web3, etc. I never, to be honest, got so excited about it. But then like AI started doing rounds and waves, like, and I was like, okay, this is something that makes sense, right? Like, and I got really excited about it. And I had to start learning about it. And I haven't felt that in years, where I'm, you know, kind of getting into something new. And now I'm starting from the beginning, like from the very start, and, you know, building my way up and start to meet people in that industry, because we were doing AI events. Like we just held one adjacent to this Gen AI for Business Conf,
No, that's
adjacent
right.
to GDC. And I'm extremely proud of our speakers lineup in there, and I'm constantly learning from them. And I'm just like baffled, like how rapidly it's evolving, and how people are in companies, and, you know, teams are incorporating that. Like my team, like, is using it a lot. Like in our company, we use it a lot, like some tools that help us, you know, be more productive and faster. Of course, all of that with the supervision, right? You have to double check stuff, and you
Of
can't
course.
just let tool everything do for you.
I'm actually a chat GPT engineer, a prompt engineer. And
Mhm.
this is one of the things that's very important for those who are using chat GPT is that you have to be careful about what it outputs and just not throwing it up on social media and in a blog or what have you, because
Exactly.
there's not only the errors are concerned, but also just simply how it's worded. I can tell when I've seen media websites, for example, that it's clear they just took whatever chat gpt gave them and put out on their website without checking it. Words that repeat a little unusually
Mhm.
and other words, for example, you'll write, get chat gpt, give me an article on the state of the game industry or something like that, you'll say, and it'll write this article. It'll be very consistent from how many words per
Mhm.
paragraph, and then in the end it'll usually say something to the effect of in conclusion. And so I see that and I'm like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
there's
it.
clues there that it was not drier than a human would have wrote it, fresh, at least a good editor anyway. um
Exactly.
is it another tech bubble that's going to burst at some point?
Uh, well, not really. As I see it, like, you know, it started, right? Like, and of course, everyone and their mother is trying to do that. Like there was a period in China where the main thing about, like, all the investors wanted to do VR. And then, like, year after, 99% of the companies, VR companies failed, right? Like, so no, but like, and it was not the right time for that. I believe it's the right time for that, for AI starting to be built in this regard. But even, you know, like, sure, if the money is pumped in that industry, and new companies are being developed like every day. Even though like if we weed out everything later and something like a very small amount of like the ones on top come out, like I believe that will be amazing product.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, sure, it is a fluff a bit and this, but this is necessary to happen, right? You can have like all the hits, like, and you need to build up. So there's this aura around it that it's safe to do something in that space, which at the end of the day kind of propels the growth.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And you mentioned Gen AI conference a little bit earlier around
Mhm.
GC time.
Yeah,
Uh, I assume that WN events, anybody who's interested in attending your events and participating in your portal will find more AI, or you will keep up on the AI sphere for
definitely,
everybody.
definitely,
Awesome.
definitely.
Cool. Great to hear. Well, we certainly will as well. I want to thank you, Antonio, for being on the podcast, putting up with all of our questions here. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. And once again, thank you for waking up early for us to do this.
Yeah,
I appreciate it a
anytime.
lot. Like,
Thanks everybody for also watching and learning more about WN events. Be sure to follow WN events at WN Conf on social media. And of course, follow us as well at Events for Gamers. Subscribe to youtube.com Events for Gamers for more upcoming podcasts just like this one. This one will be on there shortly as well. And actually, when you're watching this, it will be. And learn more about special events, industry leaders, and more from both of us in the meantime. Have a great day, everybody.